Hey guys, like JPS, and here we are looking at the Master Grade Double Zeta. But you're probably thinking, well, didn't you already do the review of the Double Zeta Master Grade a while back, or like years ago? Yes, that was the Vercal, and this is basically that. But this is a full armor, or in the full armor version. So to those who don't know, was released a while back because we actually had this released already, but had released it as the FAHTS. It is the FAZZ, but they call it FAHTS, which is like FAHTS. Um, we had it released as that, and I did a review of that. But in there was parts that because you had the parts to build a normal head, which I think I shut it off, but the head was like gray with the purple. I think the only thing missing was maybe I'm not sure if it was the eyes or something that was missing, but yeah, you could build the head. You build the whole entire head. You also can build the entire arm section, different beam sabers. You can have beam sabers or propellant tanks. I think it came with the parts for the beam sabers. I don't remember. I think it came with those parts for the beam saber handles, and I think it came with the pink beams as well. You also have different parts for the arms and the legs, and in the backpack. So those who don't know, the FATS and the enhanced had like a different backpack style with the missile tube launcher, and same thing with the thrusters. So like a normal Double Zeta had one thruster on each backpack. This one has two. The arms here, they do not open up and transform, but the parts to do that are included. Same thing with the legs here. You don't have the normal legs. And I don't think this one came with the parts to do for the legs to actually be transformed for G Fortress, but you can still do the transformation for the legs into G Fortress or Core Base. So I think you can still do the transformation with this for the top, to be the core top. So you can still do that, but you just don't have all that stuff in there. And just like the normal, he does have the two clear pink beams, which these are like from the master grade. I mean, not master, the perfect grades too. I think out of all the master grades I have and perfect grades, I know uh, perfect grade Unleashed, uh, RX-78 has these, Strike Freedom has these. I Double Low does not. I think my new Gundam came with one, but in terms of master grades, um, the Double Zeta, the normal Double Zeta, the FATS, the full armor, let's see, my normal, the Vercal Double Zeta, the FATS, the full armor, and the Rizal. They're the only ones I know of that came with these kind of oversized, like perfect grade pink beams. I mean, that's fine because I don't mind them. Now, there is a little parts forming with him to get him ready. I'm not going to go too much into articulation and all that because if you've seen the review of the Double Zeta and all that, and it's me do the transformation, this is basically that. So first thing we got to do to prep him is take off his wing binders because they're not going to be used in this. Oh yeah, speaking of these, you do get different parts for the top half of these wing binders and the connection points, like the connection points and the cover. So that was also extra too. And we also gonna take off his double beam rifle. Also, speaking of this, He also has the hands from the normal Double Zeta, but you don't use them. Like, you could build two different sets of hands, but yet you don't use them all. And I think there was also the extra shoulder parts in here too, because whoops, it's about time I get a new camera or something. These shoulder parts are longer than the normal one, and also what I missed from the normal one was the silver they had on the chest, the head cannon, and in the shoulders. And also what I mean by the legs. Here on the back, this whole cover section here is different, where you had that kind of gap in there, look like those thrusters. Yeah, that's not there. Same thing with double thrusters. And a different kind of missile pods in there too. Now you do have some of the parts left over, so if you wanted to turn this into a normal, well, double Zeta, you can. Or you want to make a mix mash, which kind of gave me the idea of taking by another one of these with the FAHTS and play mix and match with parts, build a double Zeta, an enhanced double Zeta, but the blue would now be purple. No, the red would be purple. Keep the blue and use the. I think the yellow stays, and I think either use some of the gray use a mix match of the gray and white and make my own version, have it be blue, uh blue, purple, gray, white, and I think yellow. And I wouldn't care about the backpack, but yeah, have my own version of an enhanced double Zeta Gundam. Maybe I might do that. It's gonna be a costly one, but I don't care. It would be a nice mix match parts to do. But let's go ahead and get him armed up. So we're going to start from the legs going up. And I'm already had his beam rifle pre-ready for this. And just like the other one, we're going to go ahead and take his leg armor, start with that, and, place it on. Um, place it on. Probably because I got to get both sides on. That's probably why it's not holding on there. I think it's just held in there. Yeah, held in by friction. Oh no, I'm dumb. So before you even start, I'm gonna need a little help with doing this. You have to pop open this little side panel on his leg. I don't remember if you have to do it on both sides, but I do know the outer leg needs to have it done. That's why I was like wondering, why is it not locking in? There we go. Now with those out, it's gonna lock in right there. I think that's because think that's the only one that needs to be out. Yeah, now it's locked in. Because I don't remember. And no, it's not on the inside of the legs, so I'm not worried about that. So once you place that on, you can go ahead and cover that up with the front leg armor, like so. And let me go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. I'm glad that the one thing about this is that they did give him the, extra heel print, because I remember knowing that he needed this because this original one was small and it was useless. Next up is the side skirts. Make sure the one with the open side is going to be facing on the back side. So this is the left side piece. So it just clips in right on top of the armor already. I think I should have did this one last, but I'm going to go ahead and do it first. Now this next part, I'm going to have to take off the back. Well, actually, no. I'm going to move the backpack down because I need to get towards his backside. So, fold this out. You fold out a little piece on his little crotch waist area. This is a different piece too, so don't mind that. And we're just going to slide this over and let this clip in. And now here comes the hard part. You ain't gonna be able to see it, but actually I'm gonna take off his upper half for this if I can. Well, actually I can't. Not without, trying to do too much. But honestly, I gotta get those two clips and I gotta slide them in here without taking the whole thing apart. But once you get this initially in there, and I'm trying to do this, it's kind of, it goes in and it locks in because it just slides in place. It's on a little track, so I was going to worry about taking off the backpack, but we don't need to. Or taking off the body. I think I originally did this. I think when I did the other one, I took off the body to do this, but I just realized I made a mistake, a grave error mistake, because and I keep hitting these beam sabers. Yeah, on the Double Zeta, he doesn't get propellant tanks. He gets beams. He keeps the beam sabers. Because he's like, I'm a badass. That's all I need. So I'm going to have to pull this out because I need to get to this core fighter. So for this core fighter, we actually, attached these on it. And that's why I realized I goofed going from bottom to top. No worries, it's not an issue because this will still slide right back in. Oh, I didn't take off some of the tree, the spruce from this. Whoops. There we go. Just clips in right over the white parts. Which even it, he could probably still have this on normally. So here's the, so right now this is the whole lower half done, legged up and everything. Now we got to get the chest back on. And I'll go ahead and lock this back in. And plug the backpack back in, because that's basically it for that. And we extend out the shoulders. As it extend out the shoulders, because we're, well, that's whatever, it works. Because next we're going to plug in the chest. Also, they give you options this time. So this white piece is what they tell you to use, but they see you got the options of using the blue piece. And now I wasn't sure, but I know the old Master Grade, it was just blue. So I had to look up the official art of the Double Zeta, and sure enough, it was white. Because I didn't feel like trying to look up, you know, X amount of episodes of Double Zeta towards the end and be like, hey, what is it? What color is it? And funny enough, the same the joint in there for the transformation is still in there. So next up is the arms. Make sure you turn them so the arm has the part outwards. And we're just going to peg these in. Like so. We're pegging one. Actually, it's supposed to be both sides, then the, we're going to do it this way. So peg in both, one side, the middle, and the other side. That's one side done. Oh, and the shoulder. Just we just slide that right on over the white part. And now we get to do the same thing with the other side. And this side is the fun part because this is the side that he holds the beam rifle. Now, I don't remember, like I say, I haven't, wait, this is the side that goes down. Now, like I say, I haven't really watched Double Zeta in some time, but part of me was thinking, like, did he ever use that hyper mega cannon? I know in some games, Super Robot Wars Alpha 3, he has that mega cannon he can use. And I know the original old Master Grade of this showed it with that cannon, but most art shows him without it. And then we take his beam rifle, which, like I said, I already got this prepped up ready. Fold in the handle. And then you're supposed to have this little gray piece in there, but I already did. And then we just, you know, slide it and lock it in on his arm. Me trying to do this without looking is funny. So this would be normally the Double Zeta we would have seen as a full armor, you know, and all of his glory of how he looked. Him just going into battle, got his cannon, he can shoot. Honestly, if I bought the normal version of Double Zeta, no, actually, I don't think that would work because the parts and the shoulders are different, so I can't do that. No, actually, I could still do it. Because I still kind of like the silver that shows through, but with this, I guess it doesn't matter. If I'm not making a full armor version, that's one thing, but if I was, or making a pseudo enhanced full armor or something, I guess I would. But yeah, this is what he looks like, armored up as he would be. But yeah, also they tell you if you want to get more posability out of him, you can detach his backpack. And also, if I'm not mistaken, guys, I can't do it on the camera, but you can take out his I'm trying to get it to come out, but you do have his cannon because this is always iconic. It's like the same one that we've seen two other times that I did reviews for. And it does slide into his backpack on the right side, but the question is, can I get the thing out? That is the question. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, it is in there. And the thing is, I don't want to break this thing. But yeah, for some reason, I barely had this thing built only a couple of days. And yeah. Oh, there it is. It came out. I had to tilt and pull. But also his missile tube launcher. It's not the wide one, but hey, it's still something. Or it's not the longer one. But yeah, you take this. What I was doing was wrong because you don't. You can't slide it in straight. You kind of slide in at an angle, then turn it in there. And now this thing doesn't want to. Because it's not supposed to go deep in there because there is a sliding track. Well, you know what? It's in there. And the cable, you would take it and it wraps around here, go in the back and connect. Or actually, I think you could do, I don't remember. I think it's just on the inside you do that, but yeah. But it's not in there all the way because I can tell. And what they tell you to do, well, I try to put his arm and his beam saber back in place. What they tell you to do is that front cover here, this blue part, you're supposed to remove that. But yeah, that's basically it for this guy. He is basically like what I've shown with the FAZZ and the other one. And in terms of like moving parts on this thing, you got this part here that moves. This white part back here moves. You got this part here that pivots and moves back and forth. So you got good articulation back there. You got the handle cover, and he also has a handle. So you got plenty of moving parts here on this thing. Though I do not recommend you trying to have this thing stored because, one, this alone is going to make him top heavy towards his left side. I mean his right side. So, and also you have this thing that can swivel. It doesn't swivel towards his left as much. It goes more towards the right. So you're going to have it doing more of that anyways. But yeah, he can hold it properly and everything. Though I'm gonna probably have them displayed probably the same way I got the other two displayed. With this on his back and him just standing there menacingly like, let's go. Or I don't know, I might make him the exception because anime wise, this is basically him perfectly designed in a nutshell. And I think I did something wrong because I think I did something wrong here. Give me a second to fix it. So I didn't have this right. His arm parts, the connectors did not come out all the way, which is why I'm like, why was his arms coming off too easily? And that's one thing I don't like is because I like that they engineered that design in there for that to be a gimmick and it can slide in and out. I just don't like that it just doesn't. His arms are kind of loose in a way. And like I said, oh, anime wise, like him just like this with the missile pods and everything. This is about as accurate to the show as I can probably get with him. Well, this is as accurate as the show. And yeah, now you see the issue I'm going to probably have with this thing is that his arms don't fully lock in. And now I'm going to have to figure out how to get that back in place before, I put him on the shelf. So like I said, I have options. He could either be displayed with his the cannon on his shoulder or not. And honestly, like I said, I have options I could choose from, but that's really hard to say considering how much like Double Zeta is like one of those it grows on you. It grows on me slowly over time. Like back then, I wasn't a fan of it, but now I am. And like I said, I'm not sure which I want to use. Like I have the options for whatever, and I can see whatever. But that's all for this review. He has quite a bit. He looks amazing, and the fact that we got this, even with the for Vercal look, it's amazing. It stands well. Also, I noticed there's extra pieces. I forgot to mention there was extra pieces for like the head and the neck. So you do have extra options in here. But that's all for now. There ain't gonna be no new reviews for me for a while because there's nothing new I want unless I'm hunting for something that's older. But till then, take care and I'll see you guys next time.